Welcome to Crocodile MTG, your home of competitive, constructed play in the modern, standard, and legacy formats. Today's video was brought to you by all our wonderful sponsors, affiliates, and patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the Crocodile MTG channel, and we hope you enjoy today's video. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jordan with Crocodile MTG, here bringing you another Magic the Gathering video. Today we are playing Blue Green Infect in Modern. We are playing the new card in Modern Horizons called Scale Up, which makes our creature into a worm with base power 6/4. I think this hand is keepable. It's a little slow, so hopefully we can get through that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I kind of want to lead off on this Dryad Arbor, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to lead with the Windswept Heath and pass the turn. Unfortunately, we don't have a Noble Hierarch or a Glistener Elf on turn 1. If we had either of those cards, this hand would be very powerful. So, Ancient Stirrings, it looks like we're playing against Amulet, which means our clock definitely has to be quick. So our opponent's looking at the top 5 cards and determining which card is best for them currently. It's most likely going to be a land, and it's actually Mishra's Bauble. Alright, so this might not be Amulet, it might actually be... Okay, it does look like it's the Urza deck that's running around. It's the Whir of Invention deck. So hopefully we don't get beat too badly here. They kind of can dump their hand and then play out an early Inkmoth Nexus, which is pretty unfortunate. They can dump their hand and play out an early Ensnaring Bridge is what I meant. Alright, so our opponent doesn't know what we're on yet, but we're going to reveal that to them now by playing this Inkmoth Nexus. And hopefully we don't just get Ensnaring Bridge next turn. If we don't, we have a small chance of getting there. If I don't think we can. I think I have to have another mana source before we can, but the turn after we should be able to. So our opponent plays a Chalice on 1. So that's going to be pretty good against our hand. The good thing, though, against our opponent here is that they don't really have any removal spells, I don't think. So firing up this Inkmoth Nexus and then attacking in is hopefully going to be pretty good here. Alright, so we're going to activate on the Inkmoth and get in for 2 this turn. We can't protect our Inkmoth Nexus, unfortunately. So at our opponent's upkeep, we're going to look at the top card of their library so we see what they draw for the turn. Alright, it's going to be a Mishra's Bauble from our opponent. So they're going to play out Bauble and attack, or not attack, probably fire it off at our upkeep. Alright, they do have the Ensnaring Bridge. Now it's just a matter of do they have a way they can dump their hand. And it doesn't currently look like they can, which is going to be good for us. Alright, so these are all dead cards, unfortunately. So, do I want to play out the Misty this turn, or can I take a turn off to... If I play the Misty, I have 2 mana, 2, 3, 4, 5, become a Man's cost 6. Yeah, so I just want to play out the Dryad Arbor here. I'm going to fire up the Inkmoth Nexus and swing in. And pumping it with the Pendelhaven will hit our opponent to 4 Infect. And then next turn we will have the kill if they don't dump their hand. So if they're able to get everything out of their hand, unfortunately for us, we're not going to be able to do anything about it. But if they're not able to dump their hand, then we're going to be able to kill them next turn. So they might be able to Whir for something. Alright, they're going to play Karn the Great Creator. The question is, what are they getting? Alright, they're getting a attacking Snaring Bridge. Or can attack Snaring Bridge. Alright, that's fine. Alright, now we play Misty. We sack Misty. We're going to go get, I guess, just a Forest. Activate Ink Moth. Move the combat. Swing in. And now we have exacts for Become Immense. And this should be the game. I don't think they run anything. Alright, and then going to the sideboard. Alright, that was a good game 1. Our opponent's deck is definitely, unless they have something here I'm not aware of. Alright, our opponent's deck is definitely something to be worried about. I'm going to grab the Ceremonious Rejections, the Nature's Claim, and the Dissenter's Deliverance. Cage only stops creatures from entering the play. Players can't cast spells from graveyard or library. So Whir just puts the artifact on the battlefield, so I don't think that's something we want. Nissa, I think, is something we can probably pass on, but we can... Let's see what we're cutting, I guess. Scale Up's good. Vines, I'm kind of curious if we need, simply because I don't think our opponent... Let me look up the Whir deck real quick. So our opponent does have a Gariper Aether Grid, but I don't think that's something we need to worry about too much. So I think I'm going to take out the Vines here. And similarly, I don't think we need the Blossoming Defenses. Unless our opponent isn't running a typical... I guess they have Pyrite Spellbomb. I guess I'll leave the Blossoming Defenses. I don't want to load up on too many 1-mana spells in case they're able to resolve a... I guess I'm going to cut the Blossoming Defenses. We'll just... Or maybe it's just the Mutagenic Growths. Let's play the defenses and take out the growths. And I guess I'll play 1 Vines. Alright, we're going to play this. We're playing the Nissa simply because it's a 3-mana spell instead of a 2-mana spell. So this hand seems... We're going to keep it. It seems alright. It's not terrible. If they get a turn 1 Chalice down, it's a little rough for us. But if they don't get a turn 1 Chalice, which I don't think they're going to be able to, then we're doing pretty well. Alright, so we're going to turn 1 fetch out a Breeding Pool, and then play out this Glistener Elf, and pass the turn. And now if they have a turn 2 Chalice, it's a little unfortunate, but we do have ways around it. So they're actually playing the new Talisman from Modern Horizons here, the blue-green one. Alright, they're playing Engineered Explosives, which is fine. I'm actually going to... I actually have a choice here now. I probably just want to play out the Bladed Agent, right? And then I can next turn play Noble. Attack all. Alright, so this engineered explosives isn't going to kill both my creatures, and then our opponent is not dead, but in rough shape next turn, because what I can do is Pendelhaven, play out the Noble Hierarch, play either Nature's Claim, Blossoming Defense, or Distortion Strike. So our opponent, I don't really think we're going to play out this Nature's Claim because of the 2 welding jars our opponent has, but it might become relevant later in the game. So our opponent can name a couple things here. They can name Pendelhaven if they like. If they don't name Pendelhaven, then they can name Noble Hierarch. They do get to look at our hand, though, which is important. Alright, so they do name Pendelhaven here. And alright, now we'll pass the turn. Back to us. They do have this Glistener Elf. So we don't have the kill, but we do have a pretty strong turn. So we're gonna scale up the Blighted Agent and then Distortion Strike. And then after combat, and then that forces our opponent to blow up this Engineered Explosives. And then after combat, we can play the Noble Hierarch. Alright, so EE is going to get blown up here. So Bladed Agent's going to get in for 7 this turn. We're going to play out the Pendelhaven. We'll keep this one. And now we're going to play out our Noble Hierarch and pass the turn. And hopefully our opponent, I guess they have a couple things that can save them. One would be an Ensnaring Bridge, because I don't think I can attack through an Ensnaring Bridge next turn. Alright, there's an Ensnaring Bridge. And now they're chalicing on 0. Alright, so Distortion Strike's not going to do anything here. Alright, so what we can do here is attack with Noble, which is kind of the janky way to win through this. But it's going to be 21 turns of attacking with Noble, and our opponent has to draw nothing for 21 turns. I shouldn't say 21, because we do have pump spells we can use. I think I'm just going to play out this other Bladed Agent. Force our opponent to play something every turn. If they get Karn, they can't tutor with Karn. Which is important to note. Alright, here's an Inkmoth Nexus, which I think is fine. So we're going to attack here. Our opponent actually has the Inventor's Fair, so that doesn't actually work. Alright, pass the turn. So our opponent can actually crack this Inventor's Fair if they want to get something out of their deck. And I guess the one thing they could draw... No, even then. I was going to say they could draw a Whir of Invention, but they have... Which it looks like they might have. They have all the mana sources they need. Yeah, this looks like a Whir of Invention here. For 4? I'm curious what they're getting here. Oh, they have the Talisman also. Alright, so they're getting... At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, exile all cards in their hand face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, return all cards to your hand. then draw a card. Okay, so just make sure their hand is always empty. Alright, so we're going to cast Nature's Claim. They're going to blow up a Wedding Jar. But that's just going to be a first of a few ways out. So they exile their hand. We can attack with Noble, but it's not going to do anything against Inventor's Fair. They're very dead if we're able to ever remove this Ensnaring Bridge, but we have to get to that point first. So they do draw 2 cards per turn, so they are actually playing a risky... I guess not, because with the Bottle Cloister, they can't... Alright, looks like they have another Whir. Alright, Whir for 3. Probably getting another Ensnaring Bridge, if I were to guess. Maybe something different. Alright, why would they get a Spellskite here? They whirred for 3 and then got a Spellskite. Interesting. So I can't kill our opponent, unfortunately. I'm kind of locked into this Bottle Cloister, but they are playing a risky game. If they ever draw 2 cards they can't cast, and we're able to remove this Cloister somehow. Alright, Field of Ruin's going to do some work here. We have two more artifact removal cards in our deck, which Spellskite also protects that, so... Yeah, I can't do anything here, unfortunately. I think our opponent just has this locked up, but I'm going to play it out simply because time is a factor in MTGO. Alright, 3 cards in hand for our opponent. Bobble's getting countered by their own Chalice. Unfortunately, they can't play any more Welding Jars either. Alright, here's their third Whir of the game. Whirring for 4. Alright, they're going to get another Ensnaring Bridge. They've been whirring for a larger amount of... They've been whirring for a larger amount than anything they've grabbed, and I'm not sure why. Alright, Ancient Stirrings from our opponent. Alright, 3 Ensnaring Bridges from our opponent. I guess it won't even matter. So at this point, they're probably just looking for Karn, I'd assume. Alright, they got a Blast Zone here. They can Blast Zone 1, take out the Noble, or they could, like, Alright, I'm going to minimize my talking during the rest of this match simply because I feel like I am dying. So if you'd like to keep watching, stay tuned. If you'd like to fast forward a little bit, I'll put the beginning of match 3 in the description below. I apologize for not feeling well and sounding atrocious. Alright, that was a critical turn there. Our opponent missed. So our opponent missed that attack there, and that might actually cost them the game. Because they're drawing 2 cards a turn with the Cloister here. And they have 4 turns left, and 3 of them... Alright, there's Psy. Alright, so I guess they sped up their clock. I was gonna say, with that missing the lattice trigger or attack there, they're only at 8 cards, so... Okay. I guess they had Academy Runes also. I didn't realize that. Well, I did realize that. I forgot about it, though. Me double spelling in a turn. I guess a land's not a spell. Alright, so our opponent's going to get this game, too. Unfortunately, though, their clock is down pretty low. So they're going to have to play game 3 very aggressively. Alright, they do at least have a 2-turn clock here. And they have about 5 or 6 minutes left on the clock. And we will be on the play for game number 3. Alright. And now I think our opponent can just attack. I had yields on. And that's going to be the game. Alright, so moving on to game number 3. I don't think there's anything I really want to change. Their plan isn't really to kill our permanents, it's just to disrupt our... game plan. They did have, like, Psy... They did have Psy and Spellskite, but I don't know how... I guess they're devastating to our game plan. So maybe I want the Dismembers over something like the Distortion Strike. Yeah, I think I want the Dismembers over the Distortion Strike. Alright, game number 3. We're on the play. I don't think this hand is keepable. We definitely have more powerful hands. This is definitely one of them. So we're going to lead out a turn 1. Ooh, Ink Moth on top? Sure. This isn't a quick kill, but it's a powerful kill. So we're going to play... Oops. We're going to play Noble Hierarch. One thing I wish this hand had would be a Mishra's Bauble. I think that would be pretty powerful. So Ancient Strengths from our opponent. They're only down to 5 minutes left on the clock, so hopefully we can kill them before they're able to kill us. Alright, they did Bauble, so they know about our Inkmoth Nexus. So I'm just going to play Blighted Agent out here. And I think I just want to pass the turn. We have this Become Immense in hand, but we also have Blossoming Defense, and I think the Blossoming Defense is just more powerful. Alright, there's a Spellskite, which is kind of annoying. But our Blossoming Defense does get through Spellskite, which is pretty nice. So we're going to attack here for 2 with the Bladed Agent. And if our opponent decides they want to kill... if they decide they want to kill our Noble Hierarch with the Blast Zone, then we can just animate Inkmoth Nexus and be swinging for 2 a turn also. So if they have Psi here, I have to be a little concerned. But if we draw a way to remove Spellskite, which unfortunately they have the Welding Jar already. Alright, so I think I'm gonna search up a breeding pool here. Alright, so I guess we just move the combat and attack with Bladed Agent. That was a mistake. They didn't add any counters to Blast Zone, which they meant to. Alright, our opponent's misplays might end up costing them the game, unfortunately, for them. So we're going to be able to hit our opponent to 7, and then the following turn hit them to 9, hopefully. So yeah, X has to be a quantity, and for some reason they didn't. Alright, so I guess they're off the Blast Zone plan. Alright, they're going to play something here. A Chalice for 1. Alright, so that's a little unfortunate also. Alright, so our opponent definitely has quite a bit going for them. We can, however, animate these Ink Moths and get in for 3 Infect. So hopefully this works. And then next turn we have Lethal. Alright, so our opponent down to 2 cards in hand. As long as they're both not ensnaring bridges, or as long as it's not like ensnaring bridge and they're able to just dump their hand, I think we're in pretty good shape. It has to be ensnaring bridge plus one other card. Alright, here's Karn the Great Creator. They can get something for 2 mana here. They can get something for 0 also, but I don't think... Liquid Metal Coating. So that's not actually what they want here. That's actually wrong. What they should have grabbed was the Sorcerer's Spyglass. If they have that main board, then they should have grabbed that. Because the thing is, if they target my land, I'm still going to be able to activate in response. Alright, so I'm just going to activate. Which is already an artifact once it's activated. And now I'm just going to activate, and that's the game. Thank you so much for watching. Please go hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. For your custom playmats, mouse pads, and more, head over to Inked Gaming. Use promo code crocodilemtg10 to receive 10% off your order. Today's video was brought to you by all our wonderful sponsors, affiliates, and patrons.